Hello, Worth workers. How are you? How goes your progress and not your perfection? Were you able to work on finding ways to overcome your perfectionism? I hope it went so well and that you remember that you have always been enough. And goals are important because they give us purpose, but we don't have to be afraid to make mistakes as we go after those goals. Please check out last week's episode. You don't have to be perfect if you want to overcome some of those perfectionist tendencies that we may have. Okay, I don't know about you, but I am a visual learner. And today, I want to give you some examples in film and TV where the characters trust their worth inherently, or they go on a journey of self-discovery, and in the end, they have learned to trust their own worth. One quick example is the movie A Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff and Chad Michael Murray. When Sam, Hilary Duff's character, is fed up with Austin, Chad Michael Murray, being a crusty crust. And my fave line of the whole movie, when she calls him out in the locker room and says, "Waiting for you is like waiting for rain in this drought. Useless and disappointing." Boom! What a line. I love it. But we can see how she finally trusts her worth enough to choose herself over waiting for him. Of course, though, there is a happy ending. They go to Princeton together. Oh, P.S. So sorry. Spoiler alert for all these movies and TV shows I'm going to talk about, just in case. Yeah, let's talk about characters who trust their worth. So characters I can think of off the top of my head. Captain America trusts his worth inherently. What I mean by that is that he is all about morals and integrity, and at no point in his journey does he doubt his principles. So if we look at the first movie, Captain America, the first Avenger, when he is small, you can tell he has a great moral compass because he jumps on that grenade to save people. And sure, maybe he's overcompensating for his size, but you can tell that he is genuinely just a great guy, that he wants to be helpful. He wants to do his duty and serve his country with honor. And finally, he gets the chance and he's rewarded with this amazing body, which if you don't know, a little tidbit about behind the scenes when Agent Carter, the girl agent, touches his pec really quickly. That was unscripted. Love it. I would have done the same, girl. But the reason the doctor picked him is because the serum amplifies who you are. So they needed someone with good morals, with a good base, someone who trusted their worth wholeheartedly. He knew that if he was given the chance, he would do the right thing, because that's just who he is as a person. I would describe him as someone with excellent moral integrity. That's who Captain America is, that if it is right, he will do it. The character of Jack Reacher, there's a TV show on Prime called Reacher, which I love. I actually started reading the books because of the show. There's so many books. I'm literally on book 17 right now. And I think that one came out in 2012, so I'm still not even done because there's one written every year. Anyways, the character of Reacher wholeheartedly trusts his worth because he doesn't care what anybody thinks about him. So he chose a nomad lifestyle. He thinks owning a home is crazy because it just takes all your money. He literally doesn't have any luggage. If he needs new clothes, he just throws his in the trash and buys new ones. And honestly, if you do the math on it, if you didn't have a house payment, if you didn't have a car, if you didn't have all these things, his lifestyle is way cheaper than people who do. Not saying it's right or wrong, but this is the life he chose. In his pocket, he has a wad of cash and a toothbrush, and that's all he carries with him, and then just the clothes on his back. And somehow, every town he goes to, he happens upon an incident of some injustice, and because he's 250 pounds, 6'3", and knows how basically is a killing machine. When there is crime, like somebody is wronged, for example, in season 2 of Reacher, his crew that he worked with before is getting killed off one by one. And so he doesn't have to, but he goes and finds the killers and brings them to justice. In a book, he comes across a woman and child who are stuck in an abusive relationship, and he doesn't have to help, but he spends the book helping her get out of that situation. So you can tell he's a nice guy, and people judge him all the time. They're like, where's your luggage? Like, why don't you have anything? What? Like, you're crazy. But he really just doesn't care. He is just so happy to just be living his life, exploring basically America, because he grew up in the military and all he knew was structure. Now he just has a great time living the life that he wants, and he does whatever he wants to do. But again, he knows who he is. He knows his abilities. Like, he knows he can win a fight, but like decides if it's morally right to do so. Like, if those people are bad guys, then he's gonna hurt them. But if they're innocent, he has no quarrel with them. He won't fight them, whatever. And most times he gives the bad guys a chance. He's like, I don't want to hurt you. Like, you're gonna end up in the hospital. You don't have to do this. But then they always fight him and he always wins. So I love that Reacher, again, just knows who he is and trusts in his abilities and his worth and can get stuff done. There's a new show on TV called Elsbeth. If you've ever watched The Good Wife, it's a spinoff from the show The Good Wife. And Elsbeth is a very quirky, eccentric almost, fun, bubbly person. She's always happy. She just has this inherent happiness. And I really think that comes from her trusting her worth, because at all times she has like 3 tote bags and she has a ton of money, so she can choose to dress however she wants. And she wears like these kind of very colorful power suits, like always bright colors, but then like a cheap looking coat, or like it's very mismatched, but it's very her and it's very quirky and she loves it and she doesn't care what others think about her. Like, she dresses for the occasion. Like, at one point she has to play tennis in one of the episodes, but she goes all out. Like, literally her sweater just says tennis. So it's like, yes, for the occasion, but like her own style. And she's not really bothered by what other people think of her. Like, the detectives she works with at first really hate her. Like, you can tell they're just super annoyed by her. But as the series go on, they learn to trust her judgment because she gets stuff done. And it's so fun to watch this quirky gal who's just like, hi, here to solve a murder, solve crimes. And it's great because it's just like, it just feels uplifting. Like, even though murder itself is a very heavy topic, she's able to make the show feel light somehow. That, like, even though these crazy things happen, it still seems like a fun show, if that makes sense. But Elsbeth as a person, I just love and admire how she really is just unapologetically herself. You can tell she really just doesn't care what people think. And she just cares about getting to the truth. And you can tell she cares about people, which is why she's really good at her job. She's able to help people feel safe so that they'll trust her and that they'll talk to her openly. So if you haven't seen Elsbeth, definitely check it out. I really love it. But I think the ultimate example of someone going on a full journey, start to finish, of like, they didn't trust their worth, and then you see them finally step into their worth, is really exciting. And this is in the movie The Holiday. I love this movie. I watch this movie every Christmas, well, every December around that time. And I was so excited to watch it again for this episode because it is so great. So The Holiday stars Kate Winslet, Cameron Diaz, Jude Law, and Jack Black. While sort of all 4 main characters go on a journey of self-discovery, I think the best example of someone who learns to trust their worth is the character of Iris, who is played by Kate Winslet. Iris begins the film at her job, writing about weddings for a newspaper. She's narrating about how unrequited love is the worst. And then we see her interact with Jasper, the bum of a man, who basically dated her in secret for 3 years. and she's been in love with him for 3 years. She describes those 3 years as the worst 3 of her entire life. Okay, before I get into quoting this, I was going to play the movie, but like legally to keep myself safe from copyright law, I can't actually like play clips of the movie for you to hear. So I'm going to act them out, and because she's British, I will do it in my best British accent. So please forgive me if you absolutely hate it, or just go watch the movie and then maybe come back so you understand. But I will try my best. So Iris says, "These years that I have been in love have been the darkest days of my life. All because I have been cursed with being in love with a man who does not and will not love me back." Woo! So this bum cheated on her, and she chose to stay friends because she was so in love with him. He shows up in her office and he lies to her and says, "I got you something for Christmas." And then he's like, "Darling, I don't actually have my gift with me," when she pulls her gift out for him, and her gift's freaking amazing. It's literally a first edition book that he absolutely loves, and he's like, "Oh, I know I got you something. I think it's in my car. I don't know where it is." He just keeps making dumb excuses. And then at the very end, he says, "I hate it that we can never talk." When he knows the exact reason why they can never talk is that he's freaking dating someone else. So then publicly, her boss announces that Jasper and this girl, Sarah, from Circulation, are engaged. And literally calls Iris out and is like, "Iris, tip for you. Jasper Bloom is getting married." So poor girl in front of everyone is just trying to hold in her tears because the man that she's in love with is literally marrying someone else. So she's like, "Oh my days. That's awful." And yet, even though she's hurt, she still like feels like there's a chance. So obviously Iris is devastated. So she decides to book a vacation, and she house swaps with the character of Amanda in Los Angeles. And this kickstarts her journey into finding her worth. Iris in this state really does not believe she deserves someone who loves her back, which is why she continually excuses Jasper's horrid behavior. And she would rather have him in any way than not at all. I think Iris just really doesn't truly know how incredible she is already. Like, she's got a wicked job writing for a newspaper. She gets to write about weddings. Like, who doesn't love love? And people really get joy from her writing, I'm sure. Like, I would love to read about an awesome wedding of my friends. And you know she is thoughtful, because what unthoughtful person goes out, finds a first edition of a book, which is not easy to do, I'm sure. Like, she said she found it in a thrift shop that they just happened to be in. And Jasper didn't deserve that gift. She gave it to him anyways, because that is how she shows her love. So we know Iris is great. We can tell, but we just know that she doesn't believe that at all. She doesn't believe she's been worthy of love for 3 years. And I'm sure the manipulation by Jasper has made her lose her confidence. But her getting away from the situation hasn't solved the problem. Sometimes it may be helpful to get away from a bad situation so you have the time and space to think in safety. But poor Iris, on the way to LA, she's literally on the plane. She gets an email from Jasper that says, quote, "Heard you left for holiday in Lotus Land. First vacation in 4 years is a turning point. How do I reach you?" Close quote. Ah, rude. Not, "So sad you're going." Not, "Why are you going?" Just a selfish note to say, "How do I reach you?" So she replies, quote, "We both know I need to fall out of love with you. Would be great if you would let me try." Close quote. Okay, bravo, Iris, for standing up for yourself, but like, we did not need the "would be great." It gives him an out, almost an apologetic, "Would be great, please, let me just fall out of love with you." Don't like that, but Iris is just beginning her journey. So she makes it to LA in this amazing mansion and she's running around the house and having so much fun. It's one of my favorite scenes. And she ends with jumping on the bed and she's just so excited to be in this awesome mansion. So she goes to sleep and then when she wakes up in her moment of joy and freedom, Jasper freaking calls her, saying, I need you. You're the only one who can help me with my pages. He's writing a book right now. Then asks her, like, are you going to wear that bikini I sent you? I love that bikini. And then his fiance walks in and you can hear, and he makes up some excuse like, oh, just talking to the plumber or whatever. Like, yeah, bring it around back when you come here. Like, literally lies, and poor Iris is just like, yeah, okay, yep, no problem. What? Freaking awful. Like, he's literally making up an excuse so he doesn't get caught talking to his ex-lover. This guy. Ugh. So she's sad. And then she goes about her day and she runs into this old man named Arthur. He's lost. And so she kind of knows where he lives. So she helps him to his house. And they walk in. And Arthur is this amazing movie writer. He just casually has like 3 Emmys and an Oscar just like sitting around in his house. So you know this guy's been in the industry for a long time. And Iris is like, oh my gosh, amazing. Like, hey, would you want to come to dinner with me? Because she doesn't know anybody. And she saw his tray of TV food and thought, this man's probably so lonely. Like, I would love to have some company. So they go to this dinner. So the scene goes like this. I'm wondering why a beautiful girl like you would go to a stranger's house for Christmas vacation. And on top of that, spend her night with an old cocker like me. I wanted to get away from a guy, an ex-boyfriend who just got engaged and forgot to tell me. So he's a schmuck. As a matter of fact, he is a huge schmuck. How did you know? He let you go. This is not a hard one to figure out. Iris, in the movies, we have leading ladies and we have the best friend. You, I can tell, are a leading lady, but for some reason, you're behaving like the best friend. You're so right. You're supposed to be the leading lady of your own life, for God's sake. That was brilliant. Brutal, but brilliant. Thank you. So you can see Iris just has finally figured out like, hey, why am I behaving like the best friend? I want to be the star of my own life. I should be putting myself first. So along the way, she meets the character of Miles, who is played by Jack Black. And Miles is dating this girl who's like super pretty. And the whole time he's like, my Maggie, she's just the greatest. He's so in love with her. And you can clearly see he thinks that Maggie is out of his league. At one point in the movie, Miles catches Maggie with another guy. Iris is there too and sees the whole thing go down. So they're just debriefing on the couch. And Miles is like, why do I always fall for the bad girls? You didn't know she was a bad girl. I knew she wasn't good. It's one of my favorite lines. But he rephrases the question saying, why am I attracted to a person I know isn't good? And Iris has the answer. She says, I happen to know the answer to this because you're wrong. And every time she does something that tells you she's no good, you ignore it. And every time she comes through and surprises you, she wins you over and you lose that argument with yourself that she's not for you. Exactly. And on top of that, there's the old standby. I can't believe a girl like that would be with a guy like me. And then Iris says that she knows how he feels. She says, I was seeing someone back in London. We work for the same newspaper. And then I found out that he was also seeing this other girl, Sarah, from the circulation department on the 19th floor. Turned out that he wasn't in love with me, like I thought. What I'm trying to say is, I understand feeling as small and as insignificant as humanly possible, and how it can actually ache in places that you didn't know you had inside you. And it doesn't matter how many new haircuts you get, or gyms you join, or how many glasses of Chardonnay you drink with your girlfriends, you still go to bed every night going, over every detail and wonder what you did wrong or how you could have misunderstood. And how in the hell for that brief moment you could think you were that happy. And sometimes you can even convince yourself that he'll see the light and show up at your door. And after all that, however long all that may be, you'll go somewhere new and you'll meet people who make you feel worthwhile again. And little pieces of your soul will finally come back. And all that fuzzy stuff, those years of your life that you've wasted, that will eventually begin to fade. Miles talks about how Jasper stays in touch all the time, which is great for him, but sucks for Iris, so it makes it impossible for her to get over him. And I just want to talk about this a little bit, how Jasper, textbook narcissist, uses Iris for his narcissist supply. Like, he needs someone to keep feeding his ego because she just like builds him up all the time. You're so great. Like, I love your writing. It was so excellent. And it's like an addiction to him. He needs it, which is why later he goes crazy. Also, this whole interaction with Miles has got to be very therapeutic to Iris. My therapist told me that helping others who have gone through the same thing or similar things helps you to heal your own trauma, because when you're able to be like, I went through it, and be vulnerable and tell them like how you got through it, and you can see that, oh my gosh, if you survived it, I can survive it, and like giving others hope. It's really exciting because it really does help you heal faster and heal more completely. There are studies on it. I'm going to have to do more research to find it. I'm sure I'm going to do another episode on this. But if you're feeling low, helping others is going to help you heal and help you feel happier sooner. So just keep that in mind. The big moment for Iris happens when Jasper literally shows up at her house unannounced. He's like on the phone with her. He's like, I left a package for you. She's like, where is it? I'm looking in the house. I don't see it anywhere. And then she opens the door and he's freaking standing right there. And she's like, what? What the frick? And then he's like, I came here because I had to see you. And Iris says she doesn't understand this. Like, she was right there for 3 years. And he said that they were a square peg and a round hole once. And he dismisses that immediately. And he just says, I don't remember saying that. I just know I hate it when you're gone. And also, I've never checked my email more. It was driving me crazy that I wasn't hearing from you. I don't want to lose you, babe. Iris says, lose me? This is just too confusing. Eventually, they end up cuddling on the couch, and then Jasper is saying, when we get back, we should go to Venice, like, take a trip, run away in secret. Iris asks if he's free to do that, because as far as she knows, he's engaged. And he just says, darling, I just traveled halfway across the world to see you, haven't I? And then just before he kisses her, Iris says, that doesn't exactly answer my question. So are you not with Sarah anymore? Is that what you have come here to tell me? Jasper, this bum, says, I wish you could just accept knowing how confused I am about all this. Iris, okay, let me translate that. So you are still engaged to be married? Jasper, yes, but... And then Iris just goes, this was a really close call. I never thought I'd say this, literally never. But I think you are absolutely right about us. Very square peg, very round hole. You cannot mean that. The great thing is, I actually do. And I'm about 3 years late in telling you this, but nevertheless, I need to say it. Jasper, you have never treated me right. Ever. You broke my heart. You acted like somehow it was my fault, my misunderstanding, and I was too in love with you to ever be mad at you, so I just punished myself for years. But you waltzing in here on my lovely Christmas holiday and telling me that you don't want to lose me whilst you're about to get married somehow newly entitles me to say, it's over. This twisted, toxic thing between us, it's finally finished. I'm miraculously done being in love with you. I've got a life to start living, and you're not going to be in it. Hooray! Iris! Boom! Oh, and she kicks him out, and stand up and cheer, ladies and gents. Just smoke, kicks him to the curb. Amazing. Iris finally understanding her worth and knowing that she deserves someone who's going to love her in the ways that she wants and she needs. I am just so happy for Iris that she has a happy end in the movie. Miles also trusts his worth and dumps Maggie, rightfully so, because she cheated on him. And Miles asks Iris out for New Year's Eve. And they're so cute together. In my head, they're still together. Iris and Miles having a happy little family. Probably in Surrey, where Iris is from, because Miles writes music and you can write music anywhere. But what a great movie, and what a great example of someone who didn't trust their worth, and slowly, with the help of new friends and just the time and space to think about her situation, she was able to learn how to trust her worth. Oh, so again, if you hated those accents, sorry, not sorry. Tried my best. I hope you had as much fun with this episode as I did. So your worth work this week is to watch some examples of people who trust their worth. So you can watch The Holiday, Captain America, Elsbeth, Reacher. Those are the 4 I talked about. Elle Woods in Legally Blonde is a great example of how people try to make her doubt her worth and who she is as a person, but she stays true to herself in all of those movies. Find an example to watch and reflect on your own life and see the ways that they're able to trust their worth, and see if you can apply it to your own life. So I hope you have fun with this week. Thanks for indulging me in my semi-par accents. And as always, if you want to send me some examples, I would love to hear your examples. I'm going to post a video on Instagram. Please comment on there some of your examples of characters who trust their worth. I would love to hear it. You can follow me on Instagram at trust_your_worth, or you can message me at trustyourworth.com. If no one has told you today, please don't settle for less than your worth. You are who you are supposed to be, and I'm so happy that you are you. Okay, thanks so much for listening. Have a great day. Love you. Bye. Thank you so much. Bye.